Hello, everyone. It is Monday, and Monday means that we get to talk with Josh Planos from the Better Business Bureau about kind of the latest happenings, the latest things we need to know about. Josh, how are you doing? How was your weekend?
I'm doing well, Bill. Pretty normal weekend. Tried to keep the plants alive as long as I could with the frost, but no complaints. Huskers won, so a lot to be excited about this
It
weekend.
it was a good weekend, and now we have mercifully a bye week this week again, so we don't have to stress and get tied up in knots this weekend. So that is good news. And again, yeah, brought the plants inside. That's good, but looks like it could be pretty wet and windy later this week, Josh, and maybe even some of that S stuff out in
Oh no,
western Nebraska. Not us, but still, tis the season.
gosh, it seems a little early for that, but you would know that better than I.
Well, undoubtedly, down the road, we'll probably talk about some sort of snow removal scam that we
Sure.
have going around. But that's again for another time, for another place. Today, we're talking about something that I think all of us have dealt with, or I would say most of us have probably dealt with. And I'll actually go ahead and I'll pull it up here. If you've gotten this text message, which I myself again have gotten numerous times, it says, "Hey, you got a package that's waiting for you. We couldn't quite get it to your address. So why don't you go ahead and click this link and we can help you get this package delivered to you." Which nowadays, again, with so many people ordering things off Amazon, it's like, hey, maybe that is actually the case. Maybe I do have a package that's sitting out there waiting for me, but that's not the case, Josh.
Yeah, and we've seen a few different wrinkles to this type of scam, at least lately, with regard to you're receiving that communication that a package is imminent or a package had been delivered, but you weren't there to approve it. So now it's located at a warehouse, and in a lot of cases, right, these are meant to mirror legitimate communications you would receive from a company. Otherwise, they wouldn't be terribly effective, right? So the most recent wrinkle that we've seen involves someone needing to complete their address information such that the package can be delivered. So that's something to be on the lookout for. It's something that has been reported locally. In any case, nearly always these packages do not exist. And merely a ploy to gain access to personal information, if not also personal and payment information. So one of the things that I do, right, which seems very, very obvious, is to keep track of my deliveries. So I have a note on my phone. I simply put down what it is that I ordered, when I ordered it, when I'm expecting it to be delivered by, such that I know if I receive any communication like this whatsoever, I can at least have something to cross-check, that communication with. And so that's something that you can do that's very, very simple, but also gets right to the bottom of whether or not there's even a package that would be delivered to you this week or this day. Scammers truly just hope that you'll assume that they're talking about a package you ordered recently without doing that double checking. But it's going to be a lot harder for them to fool you, right? If you know what packages you're expecting from what companies and when they will be delivered.
And this is something, again, Amazon is having their Prime Day tomorrow and Wednesday, and then obviously we're getting into the time when Christmas is right around the corner. So a lot of folks, myself included, I'm sure you as well, Josh, are going to be having a lot of packages and deliveries kind of floating out there. And one will come on one day, and then you're expecting another couple on another day. So like you said, just keep that simple note on your phone. Kind of helps you keep track of everything.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of packages crisscrossing the city in the coming months. That's something that's very, very typical this time of year, and really it's good habit to just know what to expect on your front doorstep from time to time, right, week to week. It is just as simple as copying and pasting that order, that shipping number into a note on your phone, and then just always having it. If you want to write it down, that works too. Some people prefer spreadsheets, whatever it may be. Just ensure that you have something to cross-check what would be a delivery with the reality of what deliveries are expected to your home. Another tip that we have is broadly speaking, to just never give sensitive information to strangers. Again, easier said than done, right? If somebody calls you unsolicited, asking for personal information, even if they claim to represent a company that you trust, you should hang up and call the company using the official customer service number. Unfortunately, these days we have no guarantee that the person we are speaking with is actually the person who is representing that company. So calling the company yourself is oftentimes the best way to determine if the inquiry is legitimate or if something is more fraudulent going on.
And then, just as always, again, I think everyone probably knows Amazon's delivery kind of policies. Whether it's 1 day or 2 day shipping or whatever. But even if you're ordering from somewhere else, Target, Walmart, Land's End, or wherever it might be, understand the timeline of when that delivery should be made, and I guess how it should be coming as well.
Yeah, understanding company delivery policies is essential. You might order all the time from Amazon. You need to opt in to receive communication for them to actually be able to communicate with you. So anytime you receive something from Amazon, if you haven't opted into that communication, it's not legitimate. So that's something to be on the lookout for. Delivery companies won't contact you with unsolicited calls or texts. It all depends on how you signed up for notifications. And messages are typically posted within a secure online portal. Sometimes, they're email, sometimes they're text, but typically you have to opt in to receive that type of communication. So anytime you receive anything unsolicited, especially if you never specifically signed up for text alerts, that should cause you to tread carefully with whatever it is that communication looks like, however legitimate it seems. Remember that you have to opt in to receive this type of communication. And most of this information can be found online on your business account or on your personal account. So if you log in to that company portal, you should be able to see what type of notifications you've signed up for. And if it's easier for you to, ensure that, it's always a scam. If you receive a text message, then opt out if you have previously opted in to receive that type of communication. It is very, very simple, right? It gets you right to the bottom of whether or not that communication is legitimate or illegitimate. And so you want to make sure that you know exactly what notifications you have signed up for and with regard to which companies.
And just at the very beginning here, I mentioned I've received these text messages over the last, I don't know, several months. But this is something that we are seeing locally here in Lincoln and across Nebraska that the BBB has been seeing.
Yes, without a doubt. And they're incredibly effective because, again, they're really designed to mirror that communication that you would actually receive. So if the idea is, I have a package that's waiting for me, but only if I update my shipping information, for a lot of folks, that's a very easy calculus to make. I want to make sure that I can get to the bottom of the issue. If there's a package that I simply can get by inputting this information. For a lot of folks, it's as simple as putting in that information without actually double checking whether or not the package is even supposed to be delivered to you. So you want to make sure that you are, again, slowing yourself down with these types of communications. If there is an urgency or an escalation part of the conversation, that is a sign of a scam. But you want to make sure, right, that you're at least keeping track of what packages you're expecting and when you're expecting them by.
And now, Josh, again, I think probably for a lot of maybe folks who are our age, who are maybe a little bit more tech savvy and good on your phones, we might see this and immediately be like, that's immediately just getting deleted and in your trash. But maybe for parents or grandparents, especially as we get into the holiday season, as they maybe are ordering stuff for kids or grandkids, maybe a good reminder to speak to your parents or grandparents about a scam like this and to be on the lookout for them.
Without a doubt, Bill, I'm really glad you mentioned that. These are all opportunities to have a larger conversation with your loved ones. The only person you are protecting by going quiet when you receive this type of communication, or regardless of if it's a laughable attempt or something that's a little bit more legitimate, the only person you're protecting by not alerting those you love, those you care about, is the scammer. So you want to make sure that you are actually having a larger conversation, especially around the holidays when packages and deliveries are normal experiences that many are going through. You want to make sure that those folks are able to safely navigate those interactions and those purchases as best they can. And the best way you can do that, right, is to educate them that something out there is happening. And this is something you could be on the lookout for that might get in the way of you having an enjoyable holiday season.
And then last question for you today, Josh. Again, I guess I'm not sure what the best practice would be. Again, obviously, if you get a text like this, probably just delete it. Is there anything we can do reporting wise? Can we give the BBB a call, or is it just? I guess what's the best practice if you do have one of these text messages show up in your inbox?
It's best to report to the BBB. We allow you to do that anonymously. It's bbb.org/scam tracker. We will pass that information along to the respective organizations involved, right? So USPS has its own fraud division. I believe UPS does as well. Amazon does. But certainly we pass that information along to the organizations that are impacted or implicated by, these interactions. So you want to make sure that you can put that information in the hands of someone who can actually do something with it, something that is actionable, that might protect, your fellow community members, your fellow loved ones. So even if it's something as simple as a text message and you didn't lose any money to it, it's still important to report that experience. The only way that we are able to educate the public, right, is by knowing that it happened. And so it's very important to bring that information forward. You don't need to have lost a gigantic sum of money for your experience to matter or for your experience to be able to protect others. So we would encourage folks to bring that information forward to us, and we will be able to pass it along to the respected organizations and also alert the public in the process.
Awesome. All right, Josh. Is there anything else that we need to cover or talk about today at all, or does that pretty much wrap it up for us?
I think that about covers it. It's okay to purchase packages and to expect deliveries, but you want to make sure that you're safely navigating that process as best you can.
Awesome. All right. Again, Josh Planos from the Better Business Bureau. As always, appreciate you and your insight every Monday, almost every Monday. But again, as always, keep it tuned to 1011, both on air and online, for all the latest news, weather, and sports. We'll see everyone next time.